All right, now what if I told you one of the most versatile RGB lights you're gonna come across actually fits in the palm of your hand? This is the Zhiyun Molus X100. This is an ultra compact little RGB light that delivers a full 100 watts of power, full color control, and professional level lighting. And it all does it in a body that's smaller than most of the lenses that we're gonna be using. Let's go ahead and take a look at this and see if this could be something that makes sense in your lighting kit. Now, this Molus X100 is a full RGB light, and this has actually got some really intriguing things that I do want to show you about. Now, the first thing you can do when you notice this is just look how small it is. I mean, this is a very compact light, and this smallness gives you 3 power options to go ahead and use it all the way out. Now, if you look on the bottom here, it actually does have a traditional DC port right here that you can basically take. It comes with a power thing. What's really nice is that's only the one of 3 other ways. In addition to the DC power port, there is also a USB Type-C port, which means that you can take any kind of power bank and plug it in here. Now, there is one caveat if you are using a USB-C port, is make sure you have 100 watts cable that can handle it to get the full output of this. If you don't have that, that's fine, but you're not gonna be able to output this all the way out. But the best part about this is actually this little battery right here that comes with the kit. Now, just so you know, there are 2 versions of this kit. There's both a standard and a pro version. The standard version gets you basically the light, a plug-in, and you're good to go. The pro kit gets you a lot of really cool features that I think are gonna really make your life a lot more interesting on set, and that's what I'm gonna be looking at today. So this battery, I mean, check this out. This basically comes right here, the battery, and you just literally take it, snap it on, and now you have a battery. This 100 watts of power, as far as I'm concerned, really makes it a very critical and important light if you're someone that likes to do a lot of night and outdoor type stuff. This 100 watts is gonna give you a ton of output in a dark night environment, and having that battery option just gives you the flexibility. You're not worrying about dragging cables. Now, there is one thing to know about this battery. If you're running this at the full 100% capacity, it's gonna get you about 34 minutes of runtime. However, if you're shooting this in lower levels, you can obviously extend that much longer, and it takes about 2.5 hours or so to charge this from a USB-C pin. Okay, now just because this thing is small, that does not mean it is lacking power. As I said, this is a 100 watt full RGB colored light, and that packs a pretty good amount of power of itself. So with a light like this, when you're looking just at like a bare bulb, just like this, it gives you 3,110 lux at about 1 meter at full power without any kind of reflector. However, there is a really cool thing that comes in the Pro Kit, and it is this. This is a little mini lens reflector that's been designed specifically by Zhiyun for this light. And this thing is a brightness magnifier like crazy. One thing I like about this, if you look, it's got this cool little Fresnel type technology. And what that is, it really focuses and boosts the light. And so when you put this on, it boosts the light up about 4.3% to 12,600 LUTs. So what happens if you put this little thing on a light like this, it takes a little 100 watt light and it boosts it to equivalent of about a 300 watt light. The other fact is that because it's got this Fresnel type build to it and it's super thin, I just love how thin that is, it really lets you to have really nice control and fall off on your light. It's very easy, even, it's very uniform, and just really makes for a wonderful quality of light. Now, in addition to power, this thing has lots and lots of color options, which if you have an RGB light, let's be honest, it's kind of the #1 thing you're gonna want, right? Now, the first option you have here is this is a bi-colored light. But because it's got an RGB base, it has a huge range from 2700 Kelvin all the way up to 10,000 Kelvin. And it does that while maintaining really good color accuracy. It's got a CRI of 95 and a TLCI of 97. And because it's an RGB light, not only do you get the bicolor options, but you get full green and magenta shift. One nice thing about this is this gives you all that light control that you typically want to have in a light. You can do color temperature, which I told you. You have full RGB control that lets you do hue and saturation as well as luminance. You have basic effects, which is pretty much something you'd already expect nowadays. And if you look on the side, this is kind of interesting too. There's a microphone built here into the side. So check this out. This thing actually responds really well to my voice. And this is really good if you have music or anything like that. And believe it or not, I've been on sets where you need stuff like this, where you want maybe a light to react like to someone's voice. Now, Zhiyun did make this light in conjunction with Cam Mackey, who's just a really, really clever and cool YouTuber out there. And you can really see kind of an influence on this. I mean, this light is just, I mean, for lack of a better term, it just is cool looking. And you can see that someone that works with lighting out in the field really got a lot of input, because there's a lot of really practical things there that make sense if you're out there shooting. Now, it does have a feature here. It's got a power button on the back, but it's got a security thing. So if you cut it on, what you have here, you're gonna see a couple things. One, you just gotta kind of scroll it around, and if you scroll it, then the light will pop on. And it's got that safety feature. It's actually really nice because this thing is so small, it's gonna end up in bags. You don't want your light cutting on, and then you get on a set and all of a sudden you're out of power. Now, once you cut it on, you can see it gives you a nice, clean LED display on the back that tells you everything you need. It's got very simple 2-button control on there, and it's really, you pick it up, you're probably gonna figure out how to use this in about 30 seconds. Now, another thing about this that's really prevalent is going to be this fan here. It's super quiet. I haven't had this ever have a problem with anything I'm shooting. And this just lets you go ahead and operate like this in kind of a noise-free heat dissipation. Now, in addition to the light control that's in the light, there's actually a ton of modifiers you get in this kit that I think really helps stand this out and makes this a very powerful professional tool to throw in your kit. Now, I've already mentioned this mini lens reflector that's like a little Fresnel type thing. However, if you have something like this, you still want to control it even more, and that's where things start getting really cool. They actually have a mini barn door, and if you look here, it's actually got magnets up here on there, and that fast, you can attach a magnet, and now you have barn doors right here on your light. This is an absolute essential part of actually controlling your light if you want this in any real kind of capacity. Now, in addition to this, there is another just super awesome thing that I've actually found myself using a ton, and that is going to be this little Zhiyun spotlight attachment for precision lighting. Now, as you can see, I can slip this right on there, and now I have a spotlight attachment for my light. And what this gives me is I can completely control the light. And this is one of those tools that I think is just so perfectly made for a 100-watt light like this, because this gives you a chance to get really nice little accent and creative lighting on stuff. In addition to that, it actually comes with 10 creative gobos that they include in the kit. So you can see you can have heart, moon, double happiness, you can do windows. These things just really add texture and creative background whenever you're shooting anything out there on set. And to give you an idea why something like this would make me so excited and happy, you see how small this is? Well, check this out. This is the typical size of a spotlight that I use when I'm on set. Now, in addition to the spotlight, there's one other absolutely essential lighting control you're going to want to get if you want to have a light that's really practical for you. That is going to be a softbox. And luckily, this thing does come with this softbox, 40D softbox that comes for this Zhiyun mount. Now, check this out. You can pop it up real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and just pop it up. This is just how fast it is. And one thing I like about this light, it's just designed for speed. And now I can sit there, and now I can just simply attach this right on, and boom, once I pop that on there, now you'll see I have a softbox that's good to go. And this really opens up a huge amount of possibilities for a light like this, especially a 100-watt light. What I love about this is that I can hand this to an assistant, and we can go outside in dark situations, and I can get a nice, softer controlled light for portrait work. Having a softbox with the grid is so important because it keeps the light from just vomiting everywhere, and you can control it. But all that is good, but this thing is still designed around this sort of proprietary Zhiyun ZY mount, which can be limiting in some ways if you're someone that already has a lot of other modifiers. But luckily, there's one other thing that you can get with this kit that truly unlocks this light. And that is going to be this right here. This is going to be our full-size Bowens mount adapter that you can slip here in this mount. And it's so easy to do. I can put that on there. And now, as you can see, I have a full-size Bowens mount adapter that I can now use with this X100. The one thing about it that I love right away, as you can see, it's got a mount here that I can put on C-stands. I can control the tilt if I want to. And now any other Bowens mount softbox or modifier that I have, I can now use in conjunction with this light. Now the light does have one other trick up its sleeve that is worth mentioning, and that is the fact that it is a wireless design. So you can actually control it from an app, which, let's be honest, if you got a light these days, this is absolutely essential. Don't even bother getting a light if you can't control it via an app. Now you can control this via the ZY Vega app, and as you can see, I can click on that, and this is going to give me access to all the aspects of the light that I want to change. I can do it wirelessly, and I can access and get my gels. I can pair this with something, so if I want to pop that, I can actually do my RGB colors, or I can do a color picker and actually try, like let's say I want to try and match this desk for some reason, it will try and match that desk. So as you can see, it's got the basic things you would want to have here in an app. And of course, I can cut the light on and off from a distance. So obviously having an app like this is one of those things that's just required for light. Now, whenever I do a review, I always like to point out what I consider any rooms for improvement, just so you're fully aware of what this is and what it can and can't do. And man, this is a very, very well thought out light system. It comes with so much stuff. I definitely think this is a bargain for all the stuff you get in one thing. I mean, really, the only thing that I would point out that I would like to see would just be the fact that, man, I'd really like to see a 300-watt native version of this just on there. This thing is really, really awesome. And I'd like to see a second option. I don't know if that's something Zhiyun's gonna come out with, but it would be cool just to see that and then use all these same tricks in the trade with it. But really, besides that, I think this thing is just really right out of the box. This is going to give you pretty much a full little running gun light kit that lets you get away with a lot of things you are going to need. Now, I don't think you can use this 100-watt light to say do an interview in the middle of the sunlight. I don't think that's what a light like this is designed for. But for creative kind of lighting control, this thing is really everything you want. It's small, it's light, and comes with a ton of modifiers that let you expand and shoot pretty much any way you want. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear what you have to say with this. Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, go out there, keep on shooting. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.